everyone. I'm John Evans. Welcome to another episode of One on One. Lacey Suggs is in her third season now as a co-captain on the UNC Wilmington women's basketball team. She had an all-world career at East Bladen High School, winning just about every award possible. Fans may not know, though, that Lacey came close to not playing basketball on the college level, and then after walking on with the Lady Seahawks, she almost walked away from the game. I know a lot of Seahawks supporters are sure glad she decided to stay. Lacey Suggs, homegrown talent, UNCW Lady Seahawk basketball player, welcome to my One-on-One with John Evans podcast.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I have watched your career for a long time. I watched you up there playing for East Bladen for many, many years. How much does family mean to you? Because I follow you on social media, and I know you're deeply, deeply rooted in your family.
Yeah, I am. I mean, we just go way back to even my mom's dad was big in sports. He's in the Hall of Fame at ECU for basketball and baseball. So, and then, you know, growing up with two older brothers has really where my toughness comes from, I feel like. And yeah, even like my mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family, we're all close. We get together every year for holidays and stuff like that. They always support me at my games no matter what. And so yeah, family's really, really big throughout the Suggs family in the West and all that.
Is that where you got your drive to play sports? Do you remember playing sports even as your youngest days?
Yeah, the first sport I remember playing is t-ball, and I remember playing with boys. So it was a boys and girls team, and there was probably like 3 girls maybe, and the rest were guys. So yeah, and then I remember playing soccer, and I remember always playing with my brothers, and they would never take it easy on me for sure.
Would you be as good had you not played with them growing up?
Oh, no. If I would, honestly, if it wasn't for my brothers, I don't know if I'd be where I'm at today.
Why is that?
Because they just, looking up to them, like, they're older than me, they're boys, like, I wanted to be as good as they were, because they were good in sports too. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely where I got it from.
Where are they now?
My brother is the manager for Cape Fear Farm Credit in Elizabethtown, but he lives here in Wilmington, so he drives back and forth every day. Mm-hmm. And then my other brother, Luke, he works for a marketing firm in Raleigh, so he's in Raleigh.
Cool. So everybody's close.
Yeah,
still.
Yeah, still.
When you were playing at East Bladen, and as you were getting older, did you see yourself better than most of the competition you played against, maybe middle school and as you were growing up and as you got into high school? Or did you always have to work? Because there are some people who are gifted in athletics. Yeah. Did you have to work at it?
Honestly, from like middle school, our teams were always better. I think in middle school, we only lost like 1 game. Like through volleyball, softball, soccer, we only lost 1 game. So the talent wasn't there in the other schools, but I mean, there was a little bit of, I wouldn't say I had to like work very, very hard for it, but I think the people we had on our teams were just more talented and gifted than the other ones might have been. And then going up to high school, that's where you started to see the talent level take a step up, especially in other sports like volleyball, softball, and even basketball. I remember freshman year of high school, my first basket, it got stuck in the corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I was like, oh God. But yeah, just transitioning from middle school to high school was kind of hard, just because in middle school I was so much taller than everyone, so I played a lot in the post in middle school, and then I got into high school, kind of switched to the guard position. I mean, played the 4 sometimes. Right. But yeah, so the height-wise, the skill-wise, talent-wise, it definitely took a step up.
When did you realize that you were going to have to work harder? Because if it comes easy, then you're like, oh, this is a breeze. Right. But then all of a sudden you get up and maybe some of the players are as tall as you, are quick as you, can dribble as well as you, and shoot as well as you. Do you remember when that wake-up call might have come?
Definitely freshman year, and even playing for Coach Evers. Everyone's scared for playing for her because she's tough on you. She's hard. So I wanted to make that impression. I wanted to work hard. I wanted to always get better. So definitely freshman year. I remember we would always make our schedule around where we had a PE class, so we could get in the gym, work on our shot and stuff like that. So that was nice.
What was it about Patty Evers that brought out the best in you? I got a quote from her that said, "You're the hardest working athlete she had in 22 years as a coach." What about her made Lacey Suggs so good?
There's a lot of things. I mean, she was always pushing me to be the best person I could be. Even when I was doing bad, she would let me know. She wouldn't take it easy on me for sure. But we would always have one-on-one conversations. It wasn't just always about sports. She was close with my family. My uncle worked for her, under her as her assistant. So just the connection and the trust we had, I feel like. And then, like I said, she's always there for me, always picking me up. Even on my worst days, she was there. But she'd always give me pointers on what I needed to work on, and she'd let me know when I needed to get in the gym, that's for sure.
But there's in successful athletes' careers, there is always that one person who makes a difference. And is she the person in your life?
For sure, definitely. She pushed and pushed me to this point now, and even she texts me almost every week, just telling me how proud she is of me and stuff, so that's nice to hear.
106 wins and 11 losses when you were at East Bladen. 2,166 points, 3 conference championships, 2 sectionals, standout, not only in basketball, in soccer, volleyball, all league. If you could have written a book about the way your career went, would you have imagined it when you were in 8th grade that you would have been that successful?
No, definitely not. I mean, looking back on it now, it's just, wow. I don't even think I realized it when it was happening. But I look back, what was that, 3 years ago? And I'm like, wow. It was a fun time for sure.
Was it fun? I mean.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the people I played with made it fun too. The coaches made it fun, always made it fun.
To those of us who have covered athletes, and I started out doing sports broadcasting years and years ago. Emmett Smith was in college when I first started my career. That shows you how old I am. But many of us who cover athletes who are good on the high school level say, where's she going to go play ball? Where's he going to go play ball? Who's going to think's recruiting? A lot of people, I think, were surprised when you went to UNC Wilmington. Did you have the opportunity to go to other places, and why UNCW?
So this is kind of a long process, but so it kind of wasn't, to my knowledge, that I was gonna go play until probably going into my junior year. People were telling me, yeah, you can go play college, basically any sport you wanted to. That's what they were telling me. So at first I was wanting to go for basketball. So I started playing AAU and stuff, and then I was like, maybe this isn't for me, so I got on a travel softball team. And the coach there had a lot of connections and stuff, so I started playing for him up in Raleigh. And so I was dead set on softball for most of my junior year. And then going into my senior year, I'm like, I'm just not loving softball right now, so I just made up my mind that I wasn't going to play anything. I was just going to go to school. Really? You weren't going to play sports at all? Yeah. That's what I had in my head. And then, I don't know, something clicked. I went to a UNCW game my senior year of high school, and I said to myself, I think I want to do this. I don't want to not do it and regret it when I get older. So I talked to Coach Evers about it. She made the call up there and sent in videos and stuff, and then we got connections with the coach and talked, and so she allowed me to walk on.
But the program at that point in time was not very successful.
Right.
It had a couple of down years with Coach Harris. So did you think you could help it build? It would seem like somebody with your talent level would have been able, if you're going to walk on, you would have been able to walk on maybe to a program that at the time was doing better. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
It just was not something that you see a star athlete,
Right.
Go into very often, to go to a program that's not doing very well.
And then I just wanted to make a decision on school.
Okay.
So that's why I came here. My brother came here. My dad came here. I had cousins that swam here. Todd DeSorbo was the assistant swimming coach here. Now he's at Virginia. But so there's a lot of family here, and I'm close to home. So I wanted to pick a school first, and then one that would correlate with my major. So that's why I picked UNCW. And then after seeing them play, I was like, I think I could play with them. So
that's a pretty mature decision for an 18-year-old to make.
Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty mature for my age.
Well, I'm not saying that you're not, but again, when somebody has as much success as you did, you would think that, I love sports, I'm good at, basically, from what I understand, anything you try, you're good at. It would just have been, I think a lot of people would have thought that you would have gone sports first and maybe worked the school into the sports, but you kind of did it the other way.
Yeah, definitely because of my late decision. Because maybe if it didn't work out, I'd be stuck or somewhere I didn't want to get a degree at. And
then when a coach leaves and you're there, what's that like? Most of us know when coaches are fired. Most of us, cover the headlines, but we don't often get a chance to talk to the athlete who was coaching or working under one coach and now all of a sudden has to work under another one.
Yeah. So when the coach left and a new one came, I was kind of nervous because I feel like when a coach comes in, they look at their past players, like, what did they do? And then looking at the paper, they're not going to see nothing on me from freshman year.
Right,
but, I just had to go in there and prove myself, give it all I had every single day. And she called me, and she was like, you're one of my favorite players. So.
Yeah, it seems like you really fit into Karen Barefoot's system.
Yeah. Her and the way she plays and the way that Coach Evers plays is like up and down, pressing, like energy. So I'm used to that type of game. Up and down is transition stuff. That's what I'm good at. So.
Your freshman season, you played 7 minutes. That might cost you a year of eligibility. When you look back at it now, anger, frustration, what's your feeling? What's your emotion?
Me and my dad had a conversation mid-year, my freshman year, before I'd gotten in any games. Maybe taking that redshirt year, and thought about it for a while. And then I got in a game, and that's before that rule came about where if you even step on the court, that counts. So, and then after that, it was just, what can you do about it now? Can't go back and change it, but yeah.
Because you're having a good time right now in Karen Barefoot's system.
Yeah.
And I would, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm you, I would love another year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Getting that year back, coming from 7 minutes to, and I was talking to someone, and I was telling them how long of a freshman year that was, and then these past 3 years and have just flown by because I've been having so much fun. It's just been going like that.
Did you ever think about packing it in that freshman year?
Oh, for sure. Actually, Christmas break, I remember thinking to myself, we get this month break. No one's in school or whatever, so do I want to be stuck here doing something that I'm not enjoying at all, or do I want to go home, just say forget it? But I don't know, something just told me, no, Lacey, just stick with it. So I stuck with it throughout the year, and things changed, so I'm glad that I stuck with it. My motto is everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And
do
I wish that I played freshman year? Yes, but I don't feel like I'd be where I am if that was the case.
I don't see you as a quitter at anything.
Oh, no.
I don't see that happening to you. Quick aside, I'm going to get back into the athletic stuff. You've been at UNCW now 3 years, growing up in Bladen County. Some of the hurricanes that have come through here, Matthew, Florence, Dorian not as bad. But when you're here, and not only does it impact you here, but it impacts people around you where you grew up. How difficult is that to watch, and how did your family do during those hurricanes?
First, my family was fine. The first hurricane, Florence, was that the one?
Matthew was first, and then Florence was last year. But Matthew was 3 years ago.
I don't really remember Matthew, but I remember Florence.
Yeah.
Our house was fine. We boarded up because we live right on the lake. So we boarded up that one. It flooded over the pier a little bit, but everything else was fine. And then this past one, we didn't even board up. So everything with my family, my house was fine. But yeah, it's devastating to see stuff around here. Like even driving from my house back to school, you just see piles and piles of stuff on the road, like empty houses, doors open. I mean, it's just really sad knowing that hurricane hit them that hard and like they were left with basically nothing. So yeah, I mean, we went out in the community and tried to do what we could do for the others across the street from school. I know they had to get out of their apartments in like basically a week, so we went in and helped them. So yeah, it's hard to watch, especially.
It's a cold dose of reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because at school sometimes you're in a protected environment.
Right.
But even your school had $100 and some odd million worth of damage. So I mean, it really kind of reality slaps the entire community right in the face.
Yeah, and it makes you appreciate things for sure, because it can be taken away like that, just like it was in the hurricane.
What was it like making the transition from high school ball to college ball? Not only on the floor, but at East Bladen, you played in front of crowds, big crowds, especially for high school girls basketball games. And you come to UNCW, and there weren't too many people in the stands when you first got there. What was that like?
Yeah, going from East Bladen women's basketball to UNCW women's basketball, it was a complete change. But yeah, like you said, I was used to playing a lot, playing in front of a lot of people, and then going and sitting on the bench and not even seeing a lot of fans in the stadium. But it was just like, I guess I wasn't expecting it. Honestly, I wasn't expecting the atmosphere to be like that, but I'm glad it has made a change the past 2 years.
When you're on the floor, when you're on the bench, do you notice the crowd, or are you in the Lacey zone and you're wondering about the guy or the player you're guarding and everything else, or do you hear what people are saying, or when you're sitting on the bench, do you hear the crowd behind you? Take me out to the court.
So it's always good when you run out there in the beginning and you see a lot of people, because believe it or not, a crowd helps you in a game.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I try to stay focused throughout the whole game. Obviously, like the noise, the fans, they help us and stuff. They get us pumped up, and we get them pumped up. So it's just a fun atmosphere for them to be around. It's a fun game to watch. So yeah, they definitely help us at home.
Conversely, though, when you go to somebody else's gym, and people get on, hey, 22! Hey, 14, Mr. Free. I mean, do you hear that stuff?
Oh, no, that stuff doesn't bother me at all. I just one through one, out the other.
Really?
Yeah, don't even.
So,
it doesn't bother
so
me.
fans shouldn't even bother even trying to.
No, don't try. It won't work.
I want to take you back to the day that you were at a group event. The whole team was there, and you were offered the scholarship. That video is posted.
Yeah.
That's a pretty special time.
Yeah.
What was that night like for you?
Well, we had a family, I think it was a dinner, just casual, everyone getting together, whatever. And then I see somebody with a camera walk by. I'm like, what? And I see my mom and dad, and then I see Coach Evers. I'm like, what is going on right now?
So did you start to think you have an idea?
Yeah, I kind of, like, when I saw them, I was like, something's about to go down. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's good. But, yeah, I mean, it was amazing experience. Thankful that she took the time to set that up for me, basically. Reaching out to my parents was special, and to my coach. They came all the way from home to see it, and all the players being there and having them speak about me and on me and how they're proud of me and how Coach is proud of me was really sweet of them to do that.
One of those nights you'll never forget?
Oh, for sure. Never forget that.
And the fact that it's living on now in video and
Yeah.
online, you're lucky in that way that that memory is out there for a lot of other people to share.
Right, yeah, just I'm glad my story did go out that way. Just showing people that, like, never give up, no matter what. Even if you want to, don't do it. You can do anything you set your mind to, and hard work does pay off, for sure.
Do you get feedback from people on maybe social media or people who have seen that, who have learned from it, who have benefited from it? Because let's face it, you're out on that court, you've got thousands of fans on social media, and seeing something like that, I would think, could make another 15, 16, 17-year-old young lady have that dream of one day doing the same thing that you did.
Mm-hmm. I know Coach Barefoot comes up to me all the time, or when that happened after that, a lot of people reached out to her saying, oh my God, that was a great story. Like, she's doing so good. Like, she's impacting a lot of people. And yeah, she just tells me a lot of people reached out to her about it. And even the fans that come to the games now, they're always talking to me about it too. Talking about how they're proud of me and how I stuck with it.
That's got to be a major league feel-good moment every time it happens.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Every time it happens.
Yeah.
Your face on a brochure, on a media guide, on a city bus. Lacey's right there on the side of a city bus.
Yeah. Ooh. I would get Snapchats of it all the time. People would send me videos. Oh my God, there's you. I'm like, oh God.
Can you? I mean, again, it's the Times, it's advertising, it's marketing, but it's you on the side of a city bus, driving down the streets in Wilmington. That's got to be just a kick.
Yeah. I mean, everywhere I went, someone would say something about it. Or if I go home, oh, I see that you're on a bus. I'm like, oh.
I saw you say something about that on social media.
Oh,
one time.
yeah. Actually, they just put up a new one of Ayana and Ty on the men's team. And I tweeted at her, I said, I'm glad it's you and not me this time. But yeah.
What is it like having to deal with social media now? You're active. You're very active on social media. I follow you on social media and several other players on social media. In my time, when I played high school ball, if somebody saw me out there, they could tell my mom and dad or whatever it is. But immediately if they see you somewhere, it's boom.
Right.
It's boom. It's a picture. It's video. It's taken somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that always on your mind? I mean, can you even go out and have fun and enjoy? I know you do with your teammates, because you guys are posting all kind of fun things all the time. But when you're out and about and just want to relax, you still have to kind of worry about everybody's got a phone. Right,
yeah. That's a big thing nowadays in the society we live in. Everyone has their phone out. Everyone wants to take a video when something's happened. Everyone wants to take a picture when something's happening. So yeah, you have to be very cautious of what you do and even who you're around. I mean, I have friends outside of basketball, outside of athletics and stuff. So, and even sometimes I have to remind them, like, don't get me in this video, don't get me in this picture, I don't want to be in it. Like, I have this whole, I have to, be smart about what I do and what I post. Not saying that I do anything bad, but it's just even if you see a picture, and people will automatically think something even when it's not even happening. So yeah, you just have to be really cautious of what you're doing, who you're around, where you're at, stuff like that.
Do you all talk about that on the team with the coaches, Tom and Joe Browning and all those guys? Do you talk about that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, Coach Barefoot talks about it a lot. She just reminds us to be smart. I think we're all smart enough to make those decisions, but sometimes, stuff happens. Can't do anything about it, but she is always reminding us about that.
You don't take a lot of stances on social media. Social media for you is fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people, though, who get out there and say, oh, I don't like this, or we should do this, but that's not you, is it?
No. There's no point in me trying to start something. I don't like controversy, so,
Good for you.
I stay away from all that, but no, I'm not about the junk talking, about hating this person, hating this. I don't like this team. Even in politics, I don't even do any of that. Mm-hmm. So I just try to stick to myself and to my opinions to myself.
Stay in your lane,
yeah,
as my relatives used to say. Who's the best person you ever played against? The best player you ever played against?
Oh, in high school too?
Anytime.
Michaela Boykin.
Why is that?
Even in high school, she was, from everyone else, she was way up here. And yeah, she had everything, the skill set. She could shoot, she could drive, she could do anything. She could pull up, step back, and that was.
What did you learn from her?
What did I learn from her? She's doing really well at Duke. I'm really super proud of her, coming back from those knee injuries and everything. Mm-hmm. But everyone knew she was going to Duke when I think she committed 9th or 8th grade, verbally committed. So when we played them, everyone's like, oh. So, I just watched her game and actually learned from it. She was a great player, and still is. So, and there was a little junk talking when we would play, but
that's fun, junk talking.
Yeah. But she was fun to play against. I got to see her, how she played, and compared it to how I played, what I could do, what she could do. So.
Who was the best teammate you ever had?
Best teammate?
Who made you better? High school, college?
High school, college.
Because you have been, at least at East Bladen, you were the foundation of the team. But I'm just wondering if there was somebody who made you better along the way.
I know. Well, I do high school and college. Miller Custis would always guard me in high school when we would go over plays. So I definitely say that she made me better because she was the best defender on the team. And then in college, I would say Gianna Smith made me better because we would always compete and go hard at it. There was no giving each other anything.
Do you ever think about playing overseas, giving it up, giving it a chance to continue to play pro ball?
Yeah, it's definitely something I've thought about and definitely a conversation me and the coaches have had. So still thinking about it. Not fully decided, but I need to make it quick.
Yeah, you've got a whole nother year left. You've got a whole nother year. Look at somebody like Devontae, who's doing so well right now with the Lakers, and that's one young man who's. You talk about having a motor. Mm-hmm. Here's a young man who just never quit, and had it not been for a broken wrist, wouldn't even be playing basketball these days.
Yeah, I know. I remember he would always be in the gym. I always see him in the gym getting better with the coaches. So. I'm super proud of him. A lot of people probably doubted him, and I'm glad that he proved them wrong, worked hard. He deserves it, for sure.
What will be a success for the UNCW women's basketball program this year and for Lacey this year? Or is it one and the same?
Obviously, our goal is to win the conference and go to postseason. That is our number one goal. And for me, I just want to continue to get better, expand my game on the offensive and defensive end. And also working on my vocal leadership, just not leading by example, but also having a voice.
But how do you measure getting better? I mean, I know everybody wants to improve, but how do you, when you're at your level now and you had so much success in high school and you've worked to become such a success at UNCW, how do you measure that then? That you're hitting more free throws, that you're got more assists, that you're getting more, I mean, is it a stat thing, or is it when you walk off, when that final buzzer sounds after 40 minutes, you walk off and say, good game?
Yeah. It's a little bit of both, but I don't pay a lot of attention to the stat sheet because it kind of gets in my head. But improving my free throw percentage, getting to the rim more, continuing to improve my 3-point percentage, just working on the little things, finishing at the rim, even defensively getting more rebounds and stuff like that. So it's just a combination of both. But obviously, if I have a bad game and we win, I'm fine with that. I'll work on me, I'll work on myself. But overall, I'm happy that we won. I'm happy with the result. But then the next day, I got to work on myself, work on what I need to improve, work on my weaknesses.
If somebody would have, when you were, say, 15, compared to maybe when you're 30, and if somebody comes back and says, you're a true feel-good story. Grew up in a small town, played with brothers, got better, all-star, out-of-this-world high school career, walk on, earn a scholarship, and now you're at a program that's flourishing. That's a pretty good feel-good story.
Yeah, Coach Barefoot always tells me that I could write a book, but I don't see that happening.
But I mean, when you're alone and when you lay your head down on the pillow, sometimes you just go, "Wow."
Yeah.
Or are you too young to think about all that's happened yet?
No, especially hitting senior year, realizing that it's about to come to an end. I do think about it a lot. I'm like, I was just in high school, and now I'm about to graduate college, and all this has happened. I'm like, what actually did happen? But no, I'm thankful for everything that's happened to me. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. I went through that freshman year for a reason. If I didn't go through that, would I be here or not? I don't know. But I'm glad it happened to me, for sure.
You're, again, a real true success story, and I know, anybody who's from southeastern North Carolina can't help but wish you the very best because of how well you've worked and how much you've worked, and really kind of the local young lady done good, as it were.
Yeah, but I'm thankful for honestly all the support that everyone's gave me from this area. It's nice to see familiar faces in the stands, and even like people that I don't know come up to me and like, "Hey, you're the one that blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, I am," but I really appreciate everyone's support. It means a lot. It drives me. It keeps me going.
Yeah, well, I've wanted to do this interview for a long time because of how much I respect the decision to stick it, to decision number one to walk on here. And now I know a little bit more about that story. But it had to have been a tough freshman year.
Yeah.
And the fact that you stuck it out, and hopefully the NCAA will give you that final year and you'll have one more year just to enjoy.
Yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So
fingers crossed.
We'll see.
Lacey, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
It's really kind of cool to get to know you a little bit more. I appreciate you sitting down for an interview. I know you probably have a class you got to get to. But,
oh, no, I'm done for the day.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Lacey Suggs for sparing some of her time and coming in to sit down for this week's interview. It's a story I've wanted to tell for a long time. She's a great follow on social media, especially on Instagram and also on Twitter too. And you can follow the Lady Seahawks basketball team. They're really active too on social media, especially again on Instagram and on Twitter. Now, mark it on your calendar. The team's home exhibition game is set for October 26th against Lenoir-Rhyne. And their home opener for the 2019-2020 season is set for November the 16th when they host South Carolina State at Trask Coliseum. Now, before we go, I'd like to ask you a favor. Please subscribe to the One-on-One with John Evans podcast on whatever app that you listen to your favorite shows. And if you would be so kind, please leave us a rating or a review. We really do want to know what you think of our interviews. And the more feedback we get from you, the higher we'll be listed on the podcast apps, and the better chance we have of bringing in even more new listeners. I'm John Evans. Thanks so much for joining us for this week's episode of One on One.